Welcome everybody, I'm Dr. Sage Wolf and I'm out here in Ixtapa at the 5-Star World Healing and Training Resort. Today we are going to be going over the Cellpower hydrogen vessel and why hydrogen is like the miracle molecule, why it's so necessary for our body to have a proper pH, which is potential of hydrogen. So we have lovely Dr. Carrie, and she is a traditional naturopath, certified regenerative health practitioner. She is the CEO and owner of her Institute of Regenerative Health and Wise Wellness Clinic. So she'll be kind of taking it away and indulging more into why hydrogen is so necessary for our bodies.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for the intro, and I'm super excited to be here. I really have the foundation of all of my practice is really into cleaning up the terrain and how do we optimize the cellular wellness? How do we optimize what our body already knows how to do, which is self-repair? And we should be able to detoxify ourselves and we should be able to repair ourselves. I always like to give the example to my clients and patients that when we get a cut on our arm, we don't just have a cut forever, right? The body heals itself and it should be able to do the same thing internally. But what happens throughout time is accumulation of waste, right? We were never meant to be exposed to so many toxins, so many stressors, so many things that are bringing down our cellular integrity. And when our cellular integrity starts to decline and our terrain starts to get polluted, we start to have cellular degeneration, or what we know as dis-ease in the Western model. So why I love molecular hydrogen so much is it's completely in alignment with awakening the body's own inner wisdom. And it's really untapped potential that not a lot of detox practitioners or naturopaths know about or are talking about, and they should be. And the reason why I'm going to dive into the miracle molecule hydrogen today, and it was something that I wasn't integrating in my practice either. And since I have been integrating it, I've seen a world of difference in the speed of recovery, in the mitochondrial energy of my patients, as well as the overall ability to change what's called the degenerative terrain index. And I actually work with a device at my clinic called the BTA, the bioenergetic terrain analysis. And we can take urine, saliva, and blood and really test a snapshot of where the patient is at today or in the moment, really down to the hour. And what that does for me is be able to show the mitochondrial energy. It shows the terrain layout. It shows how much degenerative terrain layout you have versus regenerative terrain. It shows your kidney energy, your absorption rates, your emotional index, and your oxidative stress, as well as your power to reduce or reduction in that stress. And so what I have seen based on those tests since I started working with molecular hydrogen is really quite miraculous. I've had a couple of test subjects that have not wanted to change anything about their life. And I said, okay, well, at least can you drink molecular hydrogen water for all of your water? And just making that change has actually started to change their degenerative terrain index. And it's been really powerful to see that we are not only increasing my mitochondrial energy, but we're also reversing damage just through the water. So this became very, very clear to me that this was not only just the next step in detoxification and regeneration, but should be almost the foundational or primary step. So I'm going to share my screen and go into a little bit about, actually, I can't share my screen. I need co-host power, I think. But I can, when I have that, I will share my screen. And I'll just start talking for now in the meantime about molecular hydrogen, how it works, what it is, and why it's becoming so powerful. So molecular hydrogen is new-ish to the industry, I should say, of regenerative health, natural wellness, and beyond. But it has been in study for generations. Actually, decades of study has been done on molecular hydrogen, tracing all the way back to the 30s. But the most prominent research has really been done from late 80s, 90s, 2000s, and it was estimated that about 2017, it would start to enter what's called the biohacking scene. And Dr. Tyler LeBaron is one of the lead research scientists in the entire world on molecular hydrogen. And he has predicted that by 2027, it will be mainstream. You'll see molecular hydrogen everywhere, like even maybe in stores to purchase hydrogen water. Well, because of this, it's really, really important that we understand how hydrogen works, that we become extremely skilled educators, and that we're working with the highest quality molecular hydrogen because there's a lot to know about it. So as we dive in here.
I don't mean to interrupt. Yeah, you can share your screen now. Perfect.
Beautiful. Yeah. Molecular hydrogen is a naturally occurring element. It's the most abundant molecule in the universe. It's what created the universe. It's what is 99% of the sun is hydrogen. We are hydrogen. And so this is understanding that this is essentially a part of us and it's a part of creation. So the molecule that created and sustains all of life. And it has a remarkable ability to bond with oxygen, resulting in the formation of water, which is H2O, right? So this is two gases making a liquid. And this is the miraculous anomaly of water, first and foremost. Now, next I want to share about our body. Our body is estimated to be about 70% water. However, every single cell is actually composed of 99% water. So in essence, we are 99% water. And water is the carrier of all vital nutrients and information in the body. And it also is the carrier of information. And I'll dive into that a little bit more later.
Oh, babe, you're not getting dressed?
If everybody can just, I'll mute everybody. Okay. Water plays several crucial roles in the body. It transports nutrients and oxygen to all cells and also within and between the cells. So it's like a communicator and a transportation agent. It's a major component of our blood, which carries our nutrients to cells and removes all byproducts and waste products from the body. And it aids in the conversion of food to energy. So if you're consuming food, but you're dehydrated, that food is not able to convert into proper energy. Water also protects and cushions all of our vital organs. And without proper hydration or proper water intake, we are actually not able to receive essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, sugars, and this leads to cellular death or cellular damage. So water is essential for the transportation of all of these nutrients within the body. Now, how does hydrogen fit into this? So hydrogen has this very unique ability to penetrate every single cell in your body. And if you are a natural health practitioner, a lot of your protocols probably exist around detoxification or helping the body detoxify. Well, a very big part of that role to be able to detoxify the cells means the cells have to be able to receive what you're giving it, whether it's herbs or nutrients or nutraceuticals. Right? A lot of cells are so congested and the cells aren't functioning properly, specifically with their detox pathways or their ability to repair themselves, that they aren't even getting in the nutraceuticals or the herbals. So hydrogen is super powerful because it has the ability to penetrate every single cell and start upregulating the mitochondrial function. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's the engine of the plant, essentially. So I like to think of a car. You could have a beautiful car sitting in your driveway, but if there's no engine under the hood, it's no good to you. So we have to have the engine in our cells in order to carry out all cellular function. All the cellular functions are fueled by this, and when we increase the energy in the cell, we have what's called a high ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And ATP yields a strong cell that is significantly more resistant to antigens, pathogens, and in addition, what happens is the mitochondria isn't just your energy producer. It is also what's regulating your detox pathways. It's what's regulating your gene expression in an indirect way, which I'll get into shortly. But it also is producing what's called reactive oxygen species. And reactive oxygen species are an attempt to reduce oxidative stress. So where do we get oxidative stress? Well, our environment, for one, pesticides, chemicals that we're breathing in, being sprayed in our food, in our air, in our water systems, our clothing, what we eat, drink, breathe, and put on our skin is how toxins or stressors come in. Our job, our lifestyle, our computers, our radiation, EMF, right? All of these things are causing stressors to the body. And the body will produce reactive oxygen species, which turn into oxidative stress in many cases. And so we have to be able to reduce this oxidation. It's a balancing act. When we have too much oxidation without enough reduction, we have degeneration and cellular damage, as well as advanced cellular aging. So molecular hydrogen actually has the ability to balance the reactive oxygen species and start working on the reductive power, which is so powerful. And we produce good and bad reactive oxygen species. What's even more amazing about molecular hydrogen is that it leaves all of the good or all of the bad, it leaves all of the good alone. I've been talking all day, and it only works on the bad. It has this own unique intelligence to identify the bad guys and say, oh, you're good, you stay. It actually, scientifically, in all of the research that they've done, it has proven incapable to harm anything beneficial in the body, which is even more powerful than some of the other holistic modalities that we've ever heard of, like ozone therapy, which also can affect healthy bacteria as well. So hydrogen is really powerful. Now, the increase in oxidation is one of the main causes of illness and disease. So hydrogen is essentially this miracle molecule that can balance and downregulate these stressors, supporting the cell to a very healthy and normal function. One other addition I want to make is that it's also proven to upregulate a very powerful pathway. If you're not familiar with this pathway, I'm going to tell you some bullet points today, but I even recommend Googling scientific literature on NRF2 pathway, and your mind will be blown at how important this pathway is in your cellular physiology to be functional. So this is the main pathway that protects every part of your cells, which means every part of your body. So the NRF2 pathway is considered the nuclear factor erythroid 2 related factor 2 pathway. It's a mouthful, just call it NRF2, but it's a transcription factor pathway that activates over 500 genes. This is powerful. This actually regulates gene expression. So whether you express in your lineage or your ancestral weaknesses, or whether you express in a positive way, is up to this pathway. This pathway also plays a very important role in the proteins and the expression of your DNA proteins, as well as your ability to detoxify and eliminate reactive oxygen species that are harmful. So it's this pathway that does it. And this is the pathway that is known for anti-aging, reducing inflammation, getting rid of excess cytokines in the body. And it's beyond powerful. This is the one pathway that if you had to say what two things are the most important in my cell, I would say the mitochondria and the NRF2 pathway. So this pathway being directly activated from molecular hydrogen is really what makes the hydrogen magical. It's not that the hydrogen is actually doing the things. It's not that the hydrogen is making your genes express differently. It's that the hydrogen is activating your body's wisdom, and it's activating this specific pathway. Now, NRF2 is an emerging regulator of cellular resistance to oxidants. It also is constantly working on an array of antioxidant response elements that regulate the physiological and the pathophysiological outcomes of oxidant exposure. So you might be standing outside with me, say we're hanging out together, and a bus goes by and there's really toxic fumes coming out of it. We're both inhaling the same thing, but my pathophysiology, the health of my cells, I'm going to respond differently than you. You might completely go down, I might be fine, or vice versa, right? And it's all going to be up to whether this pathway is active and functioning. This is why some people catch every cold that comes their way, and some people never get sick. Now, this pathway is called a cytoprotective pathway for that very reason. It's a cytoprotective cell signaling pathway. Cytoprotective is essentially meaning it is a cytoprotection process, which is basically protecting the integrity of your cell. And what happens is chemical compounds provide protection to all of your cells against the harmful agents that could be in the environment surrounding the cell. When you activate your NRF2 pathway, you create more antioxidant proteins. Your body starts producing more in response to your environment. It's actually called an ARE, an antioxidant response element. This is essential for battling injury, disease, inflammation, and any cell level of oxidative damage in the body. Now, if you are a practitioner, I'm sure you know that all dis-ease, the precursor or what's present in every single dis-ease is a couple of things. Number one is dehydration, and number two is inflammation.
Okay.
We see this in every single one. And so we have to take care of both of these issues. Well, inflammation is a response to the environment, to a problem in the environment. The problem doesn't happen in the environment unless the cells aren't able to mitigate the environment. So what this is doing, what hydrogen is doing, is saying, do you remember how to mitigate the environment? Can you upregulate this pathway to detoxify and repair yourself? The NRF2 pathway switches on in response to different stimuli that come on for reactive oxygen species. So hydrogen essentially comes in as a very, very small stressor to the body. Just enough to just activate this pathway, and it switches on and it turns on the response and says, oh, I need to downregulate these excessive ROS that are present, or this excessive oxidative stress. So every single cell, like I mentioned, in our body produces what we call ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, and the mitochondria produces ROS as a side effect, aka oxidative stress. So I don't know about you, but I have enough stress in my life, right? I have a very busy mother. I have multiple companies. We all are running busy lives, and we weren't really meant to move at this speed. So we need extra help with the reductive side. And this is where the NRF2 pathway comes in. And it's most abundantly found in the liver and the kidneys. Although it's in every single cell in your body, this is where you find it the most. And here's the next thing that I love about hydrogen is that it has this innate intelligence that even scientists can't understand. As it enters the body, it literally looks for the biggest problem in the room, essentially. It's always looking for what is the high problem that we have and what needs my attention first. And that's why when somebody starts consuming molecular hydrogen, some people will have an immediate response. Some people are like, wow, I feel really good after drinking 3 bottles of molecular hydrogen water one day. And some people will say, I didn't feel so different today. And that's in response to their terrain and their level of dis-ease in the body. So I always say we're in a state of acute, subacute, chronic, or degenerative health. And so if we're in a state of degeneration, the molecular hydrogen is going to be working on getting you in a state of chronic, and then chronic to subacute, and then subacute to acute, right? So you almost have to move backwards in those states, but it will go to where is the most important in the body. I have a great story of somebody that was not noticing immediate results, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his spinal injury repaired itself, but didn't feel more energy, didn't have all of the other effects that he thought he was going to have. Like, I didn't have more energy. I didn't see reduced inflammation in his hands, he said. And he didn't have better bowel movements, all these things that hydrogen tends to do. But then all of a sudden, after getting an x-ray after 4 months, 4 months, let me speak correctly, 4 months on hydrogen, he said, you will not believe this, Carrie. The ruptured herniated discs I've had in my spine for like 8 years has repaired itself. So all the hydrogen was going to this spinal injury in his body because that was the priority. And he wasn't noticing. So we often don't notice on the outside maybe what the hydrogen's intelligence is working on. So really important to educate your patients or your clients on that, as well as the intelligence of hydrogen. And somebody that's in better health might notice more immediate responses. So how is this pathway beneficial? How is hydrogen beneficial? Well, we've already went over a lot of it, but it increases antioxidant proteins. It decreases inflammation, which we know is the precursor to not only pain, but dis-ease. It increases cellular function and detoxification. It controls healthy gene expression, regulates reactive oxygen species. It regulates the physiological and pathological outcome of oxidant exposure or chemical exposure, stress exposure. It repairs cell damage, helps manage weight. There's a lot of clinical research on people losing weight and getting rid of things like fatty liver with the use of hydrogen. It helps combat insulin resistance, which one of the main causes of insulin resistance is too much fat on the liver. It improves blood oxygenation and it regulates gene expression. It's a pretty powerful list. And this is not even a conclusive list. These are the most powerful that have been clinically studied. So these are the ones that I included because I try to stay with the current and clinical research that is produced. Now, hydrogen is also the world's most powerful antioxidant and can be absorbed fully by the cells. So most things that we're taking, we are not absorbing, or we're not absorbing fully for sure. One little topic about protein, people think, oh, you have to eat, say 100 grams of protein. Well, if you know, your cells can only absorb 11 to maximum 36% of that dietary protein, and the rest is discarded. So hydrogen being fully absorbed is really quite miraculous. The cell brings it in, and the cell, especially when we're going to talk today about hydrogen-rich water, is bringing water with it. It's bringing hydration with it. So it's for these reasons that hydrogen is one of the most powerful tools in regenerative health, in natural healing, to support the terrain to rebalance, reducing oxidative stress, increasing mitochondrial function, supporting cellular detoxification, and increasing cellular regeneration. The most powerful part of molecular hydrogen is really its ability to awaken the body's inner wisdom and return to the body's most natural, balanced state. When we start to have imbalance in the terrain, that's when we start to have imbalance in the cellular function and the cellular physiology. And that's what creates incoherence amongst the communication in our cells and in our overall energy field as well. So now I want to skip through this one really quick and talk about the Cellpower bottle. So I can take a moment to pause unless you would like me to go right into the bottle details. I'm happy to do that. Okay, go right in.
Go right in.
Okay, I'll do it. So today we're here to talk to you about Cellpower from Lumivitae. This is a really important piece because you're going to find a lot of hydrogen on the market. Like I mentioned, this is starting to gain a lot of attention because of the clinical research that's being produced. But what's happening is a lot of people that know nothing about hydrogen, nothing about electrolysis, nothing about safety, are having Chinese factories produce cheap bottles quickly. And here you can go on Amazon and you can buy a molecular hydrogen ventilator, a molecular hydrogen bottle, a molecular hydrogen device. It's everywhere. And what's so profound and different about this is, one, our creator that created this bottle is Nuno Nina. Nuno Nina is a clinician of over 20 years and has been clinically studying molecular hydrogen for all this time with that device I talked to you about, BTA, bioenergetic terrain analysis, and other devices that he has in his clinic that he's invented. He is a real, live, living, breathing genius that can see energy and frequency and understand how things work. And I know that sounds really out there, like, oh, he can see frequency. But when I first met Nuno, he walked up to me and said, oh, you have two problems in your body, one here and one here. And I was like, who are you? And did I just walk through a scanner? And he does it every single time I walk into his clinic. I'll walk in. One story I have is I actually walked in. I had just come from a dentist appointment. I got on a plane. My jaw had been open too long, so my jaw was a little bit sore or just bothering me. And I walked in to the clinic and he said, Carrie, why is your jaw bothering you on the left side? And I felt like I just walked through a scanner. And this is the ability and the wisdom of Nuno. And this is his unique genius. So he has decided it's his life's work and his life's passion to really have people have the ultimate human experience. He believes that we're here.
Ready, Beth?
He believes that we are here in human form to have an incredible experience in our bodies. We need to have healed bodies. If you're in a body that's rid with disease, that you have no energy, you're in pain all the time, we cannot have a beautiful and expanded experience while you're here on this earth. So Nuno's made it his life's work to help people release themselves from suffering and have optimal wellness. And the majority of his work has been in frequency and molecular hydrogen. So that's the first thing that's different about us, is we have a genius that has invented our product. Now, the second part is that every part of this bottle was designed and crafted by Nuno himself. It was not outsourced. And the third part is that we own the factory as well. So every part of the process has been controlled and produced by his factory, by his genius. Every part, he's inspected nearly every bottle that's come out. And it's really phenomenal to see. And what we are doing here at Cellpower bottle is our device, but Lumivitae is our overarching company. What we are doing here is really holding the integrity for the molecular hydrogen industry. We are the Apple of molecular hydrogen, and we are the best molecular hydrogen in the world, and for the reasons I'm going to tell you. So from top to bottom, this is not just a molecular hydrogen water bottle, it is a device. And this device has many functions. The first is that it has a high frequency lid. So we have this high technology frequency lid. Like I mentioned, Nuno has developed some of the most advanced frequency devices in the world. I have some of them in my clinic actually, and we use them on my patients regularly. It's truly phenomenal. And so what he's done is he's customized this lid to actually be able to inform the water. If you've ever studied Dr. Emoto, you know that water holds memory and water absorbs and can maintain vibrations. So it is, in theory, the frequencies in our lid affecting and imprinting the water to have a different effect inside the body. The first frequency is energy, and it goes along with the principles of Chinese medicine, which is to create a more oxidative state, a little bit more of an energetic state, bringing more energy into the cells. We recommend using this frequency in the morning or before a workout or early afternoon on the 3-minute hydrogen cycle. And we have 3, 6, and 9 minutes, and I'll tell you about all of them. The 3 and the 6 are what you will use inside this bottle. So 3 minutes for energy, and then we have recovery. And the recovery is recommended after a hard workout, after you've produced oxidative stress, mid-afternoon, early evening, right? When you're winding down, when you have had more oxidation in the body, it's now time to reduce that oxidation. So the frequencies are essentially informing the water to have a more reductive effect, and you will use the recovery cycle on the 6-minute cycle. Now, the third frequency is one of my favorites. The frequencies were designed to, this is called Lumi Vitae, which is light of life, but it's designed to mimic the sun. It's designed to mimic the electrochemical process of photosynthesis, where light is converted into chemical energy. And so we know how much the sun impacts structuring water. If you've ever studied Polak's work and you've heard easy water, fourth phase water, and how sun structures water, this is essentially informing the water to become more coherent and have a higher electric potential. So this is really groundbreaking initiatives to replicate this invigorating and life-giving force that sun has on water. So what Nuno's belief is that we are bridging the gap between the natural processes in nature and modern technology. So the lid serves as the vessel of the bottle's unique ability to emit a very precise field of frequencies. Now, next is the PEM membrane, the proton exchange membrane. This is very important. This is probably the most important part of your hydrogen device. The proton exchange membrane is what is allowing specifics to come through the membrane. The strength and the integrity of the membrane is going to decipher the length of your bottle, the health of the water that is being produced, and so much more. So the strongest membrane in the world was considered the DuPont. And the DuPont, you can literally tear in half. Through a couple cycles with boiling water, it started to disintegrate. Well, this is a big deal. A lot of people don't notice that their membrane's going bad. And the membrane is the separation that's a cavity separation. And I'm going to talk about the electrolysis process in a moment to tell you why that is so important. But the main thing is how are we making molecular hydrogen? We are making molecular hydrogen through a process called electrolysis. Electrolysis is creating an electrical charge to create a chemical change. A lot of people are using very high voltage electrical charges. We are not. We are using a very gentle, low, and natural electric voltage of 2.3 volts. So the 2.3 electric volt charge is very low. And what that does is not only it is starting to produce molecular hydrogen, but it is also eliminating the ability to produce lots of other byproducts. So when you are producing electrolysis, it doesn't just produce hydrogen. Electrolysis is the process of separating hydrogen and oxygen. You're literally separating the elements. And when we're doing that, you're also creating other byproducts. Electrolysis is essentially a messy process. And so you have to be able to have a proper membrane that can decipher what makes it through. That pure molecular hydrogen is the only thing making it through that membrane. That's number one. And number two is that everything that you don't want that is being produced is being released out of that membrane into a cavity, which we have. We have a complete cavity separation that's a discharge system to discharge and eliminate anything that you don't want in the bottle. There's actually a little dot at the bottom of the bottle that you'll see, and you'll be like, oh, what's that? You might even have a drop of water on your desk every once in a blue moon, and that's because any unwanted byproducts are being released. Well, this membrane, there wasn't one good enough in the world for Nuno, and so he made it. He made the proton exchange membrane to be the strongest in the world and to be able to withstand 100 degrees Celsius of water. So boiling water can enter this membrane. Very, very powerful. Now, the other thing that makes our molecular hydrogen so different from anything on the market, so many people are just talking about more is better. And that's what people think. More hydrogen, better. Oh, mine produces more hydrogen than that. Mine produces 5 ppm or this or that, right? Well, here's the response to that. First of all, above 0.5 ppm is considered therapeutic, okay? And more is not necessarily better. And Nuno has actually figured out the therapeutic ratio through his clinical tests. He basically, not that he's creating the hydrogen to become more therapeutic, but what he's figured out through lots of clinical testing is that these following formulas and ratios that you're about to hear is when the hydrogen was in the best environment. So this allowed the hydrogen to act and operate the best inside the body. So we have a 3-phase formula focused on pH, parts hydrogen or potential for hydrogen, ORP, oxidation reduction potential, and RH2. And this is very important because our low voltage, most of where alkaline water was birthed from, was from the water ionizer industry in attempt to make molecular hydrogen. In an attempt to make hydrogen, the water became alkaline. And then we started saying, oh, everybody should drink alkaline water as its byproduct. But the alkalinity was not what was therapeutic. It was the hydrogen that was therapeutic. But nobody could maintain the pH. Well, Nuno has. He has figured out how to maintain the pH because of this very low voltage and because of his specific dual airway system that prevents any byproducts, contaminants from affecting the pH of the water. So our pH stays exactly the same. The water that you put in is the water that you get out. Now, we do recommend clean water going into this bottle, and we do recommend water that is below a 7 pH, preferably 6.8 or slightly under. And this will, sorry, I just got a notification on my computer. This will allow the water to become more therapeutic inside the body because it's the right chemistry for our cells. Now, our ORP is very important, oxidation reduction potential. If you have a positive ORP, this means that the liquid or the substance, and in our case, the water, has the ability to oxidize. Well, we don't want that. We obviously want the reduction. So a negative ORP is very important. And again, Nuno has figured out that this negative 600 to negative 400 range seemed to be the magic zone for hydrogen to have more therapeutic potential or more therapeutic output inside the body. Negative 600 to negative 400 is where he found the most therapeutic benefits. So this will differ with the pH and the quality of the water that you put in the bottle. So that is important to know. If you're following the parameters of a slightly acidic water and a TDS, a total dissolved solids of less than 60, you're going to fall in this magic zone. Now, RH2, less than 8, this measures the number of electrons in the water. This is very important for the balance between oxidants and reductants, as well as the electrical potential of the liquid. So these ratios are essentially what make our molecular hydrogen have so much of a therapeutic benefit or therapeutic capability inside of the human body. Extremely powerful, and there isn't anyone else talking this talk. Now, I'm sure after we go mainstream, people will talk this talk and say that their bottles are producing this, but you are in a very unique position hearing this knowledge today. We are actually in pre-launch. We are not even fully launched to the world, and it is a mission that's exploding, and so many testimonials are coming out, and we are really setting the bar for the molecular hydrogen industry to say, this is the standard that we are requiring. We are coming out as the Apple. Not only are we the best, and here's why, and we're also leading with education for the field, because there are tons of bottles, and we've tested many, and some of those bottles, well, I shouldn't say some, like all of the bottles that I've tested, when you test side by side, are producing things like arsenic and heavy metals and harmful contaminants inside the water. And this is, some people are paying $200-300 for these bottles, and they think they're doing something good for their health, and they're drinking contaminants that are highly damaging. And to me, it's wrong on many, many levels. So we really want to hold that standard. So let me recap. In the process of electrolysis, we're creating an electrical charge to create a biochemical change. We're separating the anode and the cathode. The hydrogen goes to the cathode. The oxygen goes to the anode. And what happens in this process is that the pure molecular hydrogen that is produced is passed through the membrane. All of the unwanted byproducts are discharged to our dual airway system and our specialized airway path that it releases from. And what you get is pure molecular therapeutic hydrogen in your bottle. Now, last but not least, the base of the bottle also has some magic in it. It is a natural, like magnetic field. So the base of the bottle actually contains an array of magnets that have been specially chosen and arranged to mimic the magnetic field of the Earth to create a uniform and directed magnetic field. The concept in Chinese medicine is really that the Earth has this like vital force, this vital chi, this energy. We know the Earth continues to revitalize itself. So there's definitely a vibrant, vital force to the Earth. So the idea and the concept is that through mimicking this magnetic field, that we are essentially informing the water to have a higher vitality and life force effect inside the body. So that is Cellpower water, why we are so different. And we are essentially the company that is really setting the standard for molecular hydrogen. And we are inviting you, sorry, I've got to cancel this. We are inviting you to really open up to this opportunity and to see why the importance of integrating this into your clinical practice. And we also are going to have a multitude of molecular hydrogen products coming down the pipeline to benefit your clientele and your personal practice. So with that said, I would love to give you guys a little bit of time to open up for any questions that you might have.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right out of the gate. Yeah, I was. Someone had been looking a little bit deeper into the product and had asked about the actual vessel, whether it was made of plastic or glass.
Mhm.
And I said, I'm pretty sure it's glass. And I said, no, their research pulled up that it was plastic.
Mhm.
And of course, the claims were that that we're possibly getting told things that aren't true if it's not if it's plastic, right? So I just was curious about this.
Yes, it is not glass. We wanted to do glass, but it breaks so easily and it's a high cost for the client. And also with the pressure that molecular hydrogen produces, it's not that sustainable to be able to use glass. So we are using Triton, which is a medical grade BPA-free plastic, which is considered the highest quality plastic. Like honestly, I was just chatting with Nuno about this, and he said, I picked the most expensive one I could find, of course, which is, a bit stressful in the production process, but he really wanted to like, okay, if we have to use some sort of plastic, how can we use the best that's going to stand the test of time, that's not going to have to be replaced over and over, and that also is not going to leach any BPAs or any, endocrine disruptors or any of that. And so that is what Triton does. And inside this bottle, therapeutic molecular hydrogen is never affecting that Triton. It's very stable.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. We think that maybe we'll be able to engineer some sort of a glass that can stand the pressure that's being produced. But then with the knowledge of when you just drop it, because I've dropped my bottle so many times, like you are buying a new middle every single time. So that's definitely been some of our growing pains, and we are wanting to provide that glass for people, but it'll be a little bit of time before we can make a glass mold and really figure out the pressure and all that.
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, good. So I went ahead and ordered one through Daryl's affiliate account, but what if you want to start your own?
Beautiful.
You
So
want to be able to.
yeah, so Daryl should have what's called a network link. So as soon as you become an affiliate, as soon as you've ordered your bottle, say, Daryl, I've ordered my bottle. I need an affiliate link. And he can just send it to you. You don't have to purchase anything because you've already bought your bottle. You just get to become an affiliate for free. There's no monthly minimums. There's no sale minimums. There's none of that. So this is the beautiful thing about what we're doing here at Lumivitae is I'm a practitioner and I own the Institute of Regenerative Health, of course, and we just run out of time. Like we don't have enough time to see all of these people and build the income that we desire in our lives. So what is so beautiful about Lumivitae is they have this really generous affiliate plan that just allows you to build many layers of income even while you're not working. So every time you share your affiliate link, you'll earn €100, about 125 US dollars per bottle. If anybody else decides to affiliate with you, so Cheryl, say B on this call decides to affiliate with you and she shares a bottle. Well, you earn €20 when B shares a bottle. And every time B's level 1 shares a bottle, you earn another €20. So it's just builds and builds and builds and builds. And so by you blessing others, you get blessed in return. And so they decided to use this affiliate model to really launch our molecular hydrogen revolution is our mission to really launch hydrogen into the world. And there's nothing more powerful to do that than in a non-retail form and in an affiliate platform. So that was a long answer to your question, but it brought up the partnership side. So anybody that wants to become a partner, step 1 is order your bottle from Daryl. Step 2 is say, I ordered my bottle. I'm ready for my free network link. You will get an email immediately from Bixgrove, from Lumivitae, and it'll have you log into your back office. On your home page, it will have a product link. And on the network page, it will have your network link. Your product link is for the bottle. Your network link is for people to affiliate. I always say, purchase your bottle, then you get the affiliate link.
You want to take me off mute for a sec? So I just have a question here on the computer as well. I just have somebody asking, is there anywhere that you could find like hydrogen water, like a good source of hydrogen water in nature?
We lost your sound.
They lost me.
There you
go. Lost me. Okay. I just had a client ask, can you find any good source of hydrogen water just in nature?
Really good question. There are some rare sources known as deuterium water and different certain springs like we're talking New Zealand, some little tiny pockets they found some water, but the problem is the hydrogen gas is different than hydrogen that's dissolved. Molecular hydrogen gas that's dissolved in water has a different therapeutic effect. So this is a long answer again, but it's because it's not linear. Water used to be a lot different. It used to have a lot more molecular hydrogen. It used to not have too many minerals, right? Our total dissolved solids in my scientific research and in opinion is that the reason why we have such high TDS, why we have so many minerals in our water now, which some people have 200, 300, 400, 500 TDS, total dissolved solids in their water. Yeah. And that's in response to nature. What is around the chemicals that need to be neutralized by the minerals? So the TDS starts to climb. So we are losing this molecular hydrogen in natural ways in our bodies of water. I have not seen any waters in America or Europe or anywhere that has molecular hydrogen gas. That is not a thing. Molecular hydrogen gas is different than hydrogen in water. So hydrogen dissolved, so H2O is essentially, we would say 2 hydrogens and an oxygen. That is not the same as the diatomic molecule of H2 gas. H2 gas is produced through electrolysis. And what it is doing is essentially bringing a higher concentration. This hydrogen gas is able to penetrate the cells. But when we dissolve the hydrogen gas in water, it's also bringing the water into the cells at the same time. So it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We're solving dehydration and we're upregulating cellular function. So it's really, really powerful. But I have not found a body of water with secretive hydrogen gas.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, how do you clean it? A question just came to me very easily. So first and foremost, the base of this bottle, this is the base. There's a 3-minute, a 6-minute, and a 9-minute cycle. The 3-minute is for energy, the 6-minute is for recovery, and the 9-minute is to take off and to screw on to another bottle. Screw it on, And this is talking about a larger vessel, like I'm talking a liter. Say you want to send your kids out to the door with hydrogen water, you can screw it on and put the 9-minute cycle on, and out the door they go with a liter of hydrogen. Okay. So that's really, really powerful. But when you are cleaning it, you take this off first and foremost. You take the lid off, which is the frequency lid. So I'm going to unscrew the lid. And this center can be washed with soap and water. No problems. As much soap and water as you want, clean the center. When you're cleaning the membrane, because this membrane will get congested, and what happens is, especially if you're not using the right TDS water, like if you have too many dissolved solids, those minerals build up on the electrodes. And that buildup on the electrodes will cause your bottle to start producing less hydrogen. Okay, so you have to clean it. It's super important. So you put boiling water in here. I'm going to give you 2 ways to clean your water or your bottle. Boiling water in the bottle. Do not put the lid on. Whenever you have hot water in the bottle, no lid. Okay, too much pressure. So hot water in the bottle. You're going to put fresh lemon juice or citric acid powder in the bottle. Run a 9-minute cycle with the lid off. Okay, lid off, let it run. Then rinse it out. I recommend running a second 9-minute cycle with just hot water after you've done lemon or citric acid. Dump it out and that's it. That's the simplest way for maintenance. Now a deep clean is required, I think once a week to maintain optimal electrode use. And that deep clean would be the same. Pour hot water in, pour the food grade citric acid in, let it sit and go to sleep. In the morning, dump it all out, rinse it out, run a 9-minute cycle with hot water, and you're good to go. Super easy. So I do my maintenance on Sundays, Sunday nights. I pour boiling hot water and citric acid and I go to bed. Monday morning when I wake up, I discard the water. I give it a rinse, a shake. Then I pour boiling water in it, run it 9 minutes, and I'm done. And that's really what I do. That's how you clean the bottle and keep the membrane integrity and all of the electrodes from having deposits. You will know that your electrodes need to be clean when you start seeing less bubbles being produced. The less bubbles means less hydrogen is being produced and it's time for a clean. You can use lemon to clean. Yeah, lemon or food grade citric acid, but you do not want the lemon pulp. No pulp, it will clog up the membrane. So you want to be very careful that it's just lemon juice, no pulp. All right. It's extremely different. So I just got a question in the chat. How is this bottle different from tablets? Good question. It's very different. Those tablets, I would say that the majority of them aren't actually producing any sustainable molecular hydrogen. Nuno kind of laughs when he tests these tablets because he always says, ha ha ha, it should say hydrogen graveyard or hydrogen at time of packaging. And that's because it's really hard to stabilize molecular hydrogen. It's a gas. It is evaporating. So we don't generally see a lot of these tablets that are actually effective, but the other byproduct of these tablets is, one, it's not being made in real time. Molecular hydrogen is the most powerful within 30 minutes after producing it. 2, it's usually combined with magnesium stearate, citric acid, magnesium stearate, and different byproducts that we don't want to be consuming in our bodies. So this is going to be the most pure hydrogen-rich water made each time you drink is actually the most powerful. And the reason our vessel is this size is because we want you to produce the hydrogen and drink it all in one. And the reason for that is because in order to get a therapeutic level of molecular hydrogen in your body, it needs to be in like one fell swoop, right? Because otherwise you're sipping small parts of hydrogen, your ppm is going down. So we recommend just drink it back, and when it's filled below the line, it's about 8-ish ounces, up to the top is 10. So that goes down in one swoop. You're getting more hydration. Your body can absorb that about 8 to 10 ounces of water every 30 minutes. And so we say drink about every 30 minutes. If you're dehydrated, drink once an hour. I drink about 6 bottles of hydrogen water a day personally. I would say breakfast, lunch, dinner, bedtime, snack. Before those times is what I do. Okay. So we know that everything is better with hydrogen. How much better is glutathione and redox signaling molecules? Well, those are 2 separate things. One, I would say that when we're improving the reactive oxygen species and the mitochondria in the cell, we're already we're already starting to replenish some of our signaling molecules. So hydrogen is really helping. So if you work with redox signaling molecules or ASEA redox, it's actually a benefit. They actually complement each other in many ways. I always say the redox is more like the nervous system, the communication in between the cells, the cell mediator and the regulator, whereas the hydrogen's working right in the cell and on the cell. So they have two different functions. And I actually sent Dr. Marcel a document that I wrote on the difference between ASEA redox and H2 and why we'd want to use these two together as a hybrid and how they're powerful together. So I'm sure he can send that to you if you have a question on that. And then as we know, the redox is upregulating our glutathione like 500x. Well, you also heard that the NRF2 pathway that's activated is upregulating over 500 genes. So this is just such a powerful combo together. And I don't think that they overlap, but that they benefit each other quite a lot. Okay. In the future, Lumivite is coming out with other products such as H2 tabs, skincare, etc. Companies. Yes, we are in pre-launch and there is a lot coming, and that's all I'm privy to say. I know what's coming. I can't say what's coming, but really exciting things are coming. And what I will say about Lumivite is you don't want to look back like Bitcoin and be like, oh, dang, I should have invested in that, right? We are going to be the next largest molecular hydrogen company. Well, we are going to be the largest molecular hydrogen company in the world. And that is, I say that with the most confidence. Usually I don't think those things or say those things in that way because everybody's really smart and can produce lots of products. But I have just had the privilege and the honor to work side by side with Nuno and his genius and see his inventions and his creations and what he's creating. And there are many things coming down the pipeline. Yeah, for people that potentially have loads of TDS. So in this case, this is when I would recommend getting like a zero filter. If you have loads of TDS, get a zero filter and we will have a solution to bring that water back to life. There will be something coming very soon that's going to restructure, like essentially create a completely balanced water that mimics the mineral balance of the human being. So I will give you a sneak peek that that's coming, but I would use a zero filter to bring it down. Okay. Yes. So the other thing to make mention of is that Dr. Tyler LeBaron, he owns the Molecular Hydrogen Institute, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. He's extremely passionate about educating the world on molecular hydrogen, has no affiliation with any companies, and he is standing by our side on our education board because he has been so impressed with Nuno Nina's technology, with his knowledge and brilliance in hydrogen. And he's so excited about what we're doing that he is been part of our corporate training board on our education, and he's offered his Molecular Hydrogen Institute courses to everyone that's a Lumivite affiliate at 20% off. And he become molecular hydrogen certified through his institute. His courses are very affordable. And then he's added a 20% discount on top of it. I'm talking under a couple $100. Like we're talking like 125, something like that. Really amazing his heart, and every one of us that become molecular hydrogen certified, it's really just giving more integrity to what we do and a deeper understanding of how molecular hydrogen works. In addition to that, we have received all of our H2 analytics, and our H2 analytics state that in the 3-minute cycle, we're producing 1.01 parts per million of hydrogen. In the 6-minute cycle, it's 1.51, and in the 9-minute cycle, which is meant for an outer bottle, is 1.89. And we are producing more than the therapeutic ratio and safe and clean molecular hydrogen. So we have all of our certifications, all of our analytics, and we have Dr. Tyler LeBaron really standing by our side, which is truly a testament to what we're doing. Yes. Yep, just mentioned the H2 certification, so perfect. So there's an H2, the H2 level 2 will be coming out. So there's a level 1 out right now. Level 2 and level 3 will also be coming out. So really dive into the Molecular Hydrogen Institute and connect in with Dr. Marcel. He can give you the Lumivite code and how to get in for 20% off and really just be educated in the hydrogen world and how powerful this is. For high TDS, would they put boiling water and lemon juice? Yeah, but still, I would try to reduce that TDS because it's also going to affect, too high of minerals affects your whole body, your kidneys. and everything. So it's like a traffic jam in the kidneys and the microvilli that are trying to release all this excess mineral deposits. You think of hard water deposits, that same thing can be happening inside the body. So we don't want that high TDS water in the body. Yeah, good question. Okay. It does not at all. That's why we chose Triton. So the question in the chat was, or just privately to me, was, does lemon juice or citric acid affect the plastic bottle quality or leaching plastic or water from it? And it does not. This is why we chose the medical grade Triton, because it is like, this chemistry is so solid. It doesn't start to leach any chemicals out. It's a really, really expensive plastic. And not that that matters. It's just, we chose the quality, right? You get what you pay for. And so it's not leaching. And that was really important to know when choosing plastic, that it wasn't leaching anything into the water. Okay. Any other questions that I can answer? Okay. Wonderful. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this call. Thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to the host. You can get in touch with Daryl and get your link if you would like to purchase your bottle and then receive your affiliate link so that you can help share this mission. And we have lots of education in the community, and not just me, but I am on Director of Medicine and Science, as well as Dr. Michelle Patrick is Head of Education. We together really focus on educating the field, really holding the bar and setting the standard for this industry. So there's lots and lots of support built in, lots of education built in, and we look forward to seeing you inside the Lumi Vitae family.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carey, for all your information. That was wonderful.
Yeah, you're welcome. Somebody asked when they'll ship, and we were told mid-April. So, and I've still been told mid-April from corporate and Nuno. So I believe that is correct.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. It's April 8th already. It's a powerful eclipse day as well. So we've got about another week, and we would assume that bottles will be shipping, and they ship quickly. Once they ship, you usually have it in three-ish to 4-ish days.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you so much. If you need anything else from me, I'll stay. Otherwise, I'll head out, and you guys I'm going to make you host back so that I don't end the call.
Yeah, no, you're good. That would be great. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Okay. Have a great evening. Thank you.
You as well. All right, Bravehearts, thank you so much. So Dr. Wolf will be on next week. He will be taken back over, but he is lecturing right now all around Canada in a few different areas, from Kelowna to Calgary to Toronto. He is going to be in Calgary this Friday, April 12th at 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. And it'll be at the same location as last time, the Luminescence at 8180 McLeod Trail South, Suite 20. You can call Lorraine, though, to get a contact and to save a spot. That's going to be at 403-605-9216, or go to bhnuniversity.com to save your spot. Other than that, I hope everybody just has the most wonderful one. We're out here at Ixtapa DoD 5-Star World Healing and Training Resort. I am working with a lovely gentleman right now doing the training. And after this, I have another couple coming down for a personalized treatment and training. And so we're just keeping the ball rolling. If you're interested in that, come check us out. I hope you're all having a blessed day. We'll catch you in the next one.